Thank you for joining this third episode. We're going to start today with some news regarding the Marrakech Congress. So I give the floor to Andriane.
Bonjour à tous. Donc, j'aimerais maintenant repasser
So I'd now like to go over the key dates with you so you can mark your calendars and help your delegations prepare for the 18th World Congress in Marrakesh, which, as you know, is fast approaching. So first, we'll be releasing the preliminary Congress program on May 26th. Then we'll open registration 3 weeks later. So on June 16th, we'll be exactly 4 months and a few days away from the conference. That's also when registration opens.
en juin, nous ouvrirons les candidatures pour les villes qui souhaitent postuler comme membres du conseil d'administration. Si vous oubliez les dates, vous pouvez les voir à l'écran. Donc, ceci n'est pas exactement.
If you've forgotten the dates, you can see them on the screen. So this isn't exactly related to the Congress, but I'm taking this opportunity to mention it. On July 8th,
Programme détaillé et des documents préparatoires au symposium et à l'Assemblée générale.
and finally, the last date to keep in mind is the release of the detailed program and preparatory documents for the symposium and the General Assembly, which will be in the first week of September, about a month and a half before the Congress. So, for all cities wishing to participate in any capacity in the symposium's activities, there will be many ways to get involved, and this will be part of the important communications sent to members. But this is also a topic we plan to address in the next NUP Connect, which will take place on May 7th. So here are the important dates to keep in mind. If you have any...
So please raise your hand or just talk if you have any questions or leave it in the chat. Okay, so no questions at all. I'm gonna reshare my screen. I think it came back. Thank you, Jules. So let's take a look back at the steering committee. It happened in Brussels last March 16 and 17. There was a steering committee for the OWHC New Urban project. The mandate of this steering committee was to have more details of the proposals that will be submitted to members at the Marrakech Congress, precisely. So there were 12 members of the steering committee representing cities such as Bordeaux, Bruges, Brussels, Colonia del Sacramento, Cuenca, Luxembourg, Quebec City, Regensburg, Saint Louis, San Antonio, and Warsaw. It was supported also by the advisory committee, and together they formulated some recommendations regarding the new urban project. So during this meeting, there were discussed many topics, and there was a consensus on the need of the new urban project, which is seen as a catalytic or profound change in urban practices through heritage. Participants also emphasized that the new urban project must move beyond the stage of a strategic vision to become a concrete operational tool that will be directly used by member cities. The discussions also highlighted that the new urban project is at first and foremost conceived as a process and a cultural shift, involving a change, of course, in the ways of thinking about how to shape the city, how to see heritage. And in this regard, heritage was unanimously seen or recognized as an active and structuring resource for urban transformation, and of course not only a legacy to be preserved. And finally, participants express desire to strengthen the role of the OWHC, so it can be acting as a dynamic or as a driving force capable of supporting member cities in practical implementation of this approach. So this proposal, all the discussions have been, of course, will enrich all the new urban project, and there will be there's a summary, a revised summary that will be used for the regional meetings are going to happen in the upcoming weeks, and will be orientated to doing perception tests in the upcoming months. So thank you for all the information and all the inputs that you had. I see members of the steering committee here, so thank you for your participation. So next slide, Jules. Thank you. We also had, as we told you last NUP Connect, we had two city labs on culture of cooperation culture and tourist management in historic centers. That happened last week on April 1st and 2nd, and we will have a third city lab happening in an hour. So the first city lab focused on cultural cooperation was co-organized with the city of Bordeaux, and the second organized with Amsterdam. There were more than 17 representatives from the 14 different cities of the network that participated in the discussions, sharing experiences, and also giving concrete practices. The City Lab on Culture of Cooperation provided a valuable space for identifying and discussing different cooperation schemes with projects that support the evolving contemporary uses of heritage. There were two concrete case studies from Bordeaux that were presented, and they were illustrating how those projects could evolve to change and to structure the transformation of the built heritage. There was a collective input from all participants also that will help consolidate this shared definition of culture of cooperation that will be part of the new urban project. And there's the other city lab, the city lab on tourist management in historic centers, had a lot of discussions that started actually in the fall of 2025. There was another city lab that was preparing the floor for the city lab that we had last week regarding the challenges and the opportunities linked to sustainable tourism. The discussions in this city lab, in the one that we had last week, were focused mostly in changes on visitor profiles and the governance arrangements, such as DMOs and all those structures, and of course how it's needed as supporting model for sustainable tourism. The outcomes will help us define also a common understanding of balanced tourism in historic centers to be integrated into the new urban project. And we will have the third city lab in an hour focused on energy and efficiency with energy efficiency with the city of Luxembourg as a coordinator. And we're going to share with you the results of the city labs in a report that will be published and will be also presented in our next next NUP Connect. So please keep in touch with us to see the results. Next slide, please. And as we mentioned last NUP Connect, we had the ending of the collaborative network of the management of tourist bus traffic in historic center that was coordinated by the city of Quebec and that held its final meeting actually last week too. So the network went beyond the work and they held a city-to-city mission in Quebec City by a welcoming expert from Amsterdam to exchange an expertise on different topics regarding the topic of the collaborative network. Today, we would like to take a moment to know or to share with you the key outcomes of the network and, of course, of the city-to-city exchange. To do so, we are pleased to welcome two guests who were closely involved in this work. We have first Rick Batlan, Senior Advisor for Mobility and Public Spaces for the City of Amsterdam. And second, we will have Hervé Chapon, Transportation Planning Advisor for the City of Quebec and Lead Collaborative Network. So thank you so much both for you be here. The floor is yours, Hervé or Luc.
Hervé, you start. I can start too. Well, thank you for inviting me to this Connect session. And also, thank you for inviting me to the collaborative work for coaches. I'm very happy to share the experiences that we have in somebody
Just a second.
kitchen work.
Just a second, Rick. There's a big noise behind. I don't know who it is, but the translation will have difficulty to translate. Is it you or is it?
No, I'm in a cell.
Okay, okay. So
I have
anybody
survey.
who has so anybody who has a mic open, please put it off for the moment so we can hear Rick better. Thank you so much, everyone. Go ahead, Rick.
So we had this collaborative network for coach traffic in heritage cities, and with 12 or 15 cities joining. And for me, this was new, but we have a lot of experiences with dealing with coach traffic around heritage cities. And well, I think we have some takeaways from this network because we see that obviously we all cherish our mutual heritage city areas, and we see a lot of tourism more and more. One city a little bit more than the other. We had 24 million visitors last year, so we talk about over tourism at this moment in Amsterdam. But we also have to deal with all of the consequences that it has to the heritage area. For instance, by coaches, because these are big vehicles that weren't there in the Middle Ages. So all these heritage sites are not built for access for coaches, and the question is what you do. And we have been able to pinpoint a lot of measures that different cities take. We have been seeing measures that different cities take in the same way. So we have a sort of a collaborative idea on what you can do in cities with coach traffic. And one of the topics that we want to put more pressure on is that we're dealing with the same kind of tourism flows and the same kind of tourism industry. They all work a little bit the same. For one thing, for tourist industry, the most profitable way to have their passengers, their customers experience heritage city. It's sad to say, but you just put them in a coach, you drive them along, you give them some photo opportunities from the coach, and then you're off again. And this was one of the reasons that in Amsterdam we said we want to have a policy that takes out this, hit and run visits to Amsterdam by coach, try to get people back on the streets, on the bikes, to get out of the coach, get the coach smaller, and not having the big coaches in the city center. And we've been relatively successful with that. And I've been in Ville de Quebec, and it was winter time, but you could see it's a little bit the same kind of problems and issues that they have there. So we have decided to try to make some sort of a roadmap so that our colleague cities, all cities of the OECD, can can see what kind of measures you can take, and especially how you have to deal with the tourism industry in order to have them, space to do their thing and to get people visit your cities, but in a way that it is keeps the cities and the have these areas habitable. So I was very pleased to be in this process, and I'm very pleased to work with Hervé to get this roadmap working and present it in the end of the year. Hervé?
We Yes. So we have the collaborative network. We have it. We started working on it last November. Then, the approach that was chosen. And then, I'll tell you about that later. Quebec's choices. It's a bit of a funnel-like approach, where we had 12 participating cities across 2 different dimensions. The largest city was Istanbul, with the challenges of a major city and a large historic center. The smallest, I believe the smallest was Luxembourg, and they had different geographical contexts as well as different climatic contexts. But as Eric mentioned, in fact, the challenges are pretty much the same. And an initial report was released following consultations with all stakeholder groups, and several measures were implemented. There was an initial decrease in the number of tour buses, and then, since the measures implemented in the 2000s, the number of buses has risen again. We had a lull with COVID, and now we're seeing a return of the influx of tour buses as well. As Eric also mentioned, there's been an increase in the number of tourists over the past year or so. In all historic centers around the world, and we're all facing this new reality. So, the approach that was chosen for working within the collaborative network. So it was an approach where we first assess the current situation in all the participating cities, taking into account their specific challenges and their own context. Then, we focused on the period just before the arrival of tourists, specifically on tourist management and managing tourist flows. At the moment when they're making their travel purchases to go to a destination like Quebec City, or Amsterdam, or other cities. And we approached it in a funnel-like manner. So we looked at it. Then we looked at the travel flows that this could generate, whether by bus or other modes of transportation. We looked at the planning tools that had been put in place by all the cities. We looked at the measures that had been put in place to restrict access for these tour buses, and last month we finished analyzing and sharing the modal shift measures, that is, measures to encourage a change in mode of transportation to incentivize them. Tourists, and especially the Keeply, coach operators and tour operators too, to allow their travelers to use other modes of transportation, to mention Quebec City again. May I? I will wrap up all the work that has been done within the collaborative network. It will be useful in producing a report that will serve as a sort of roadmap, not only for Quebec City, but for all the cities where we'll be presenting all of this. All the issues, and then all the approaches that have been considered across all the cities. So using the case studies presented to us by all the cities, which, as Andriane mentioned at the start, We want to proceed with an approach that involves sharing not only strategic approaches, but also tactical and operational ones, because it's often in the details of on-the-ground operations where things get stuck. That was the case in Quebec City a few years ago, where in the process of denouncing of the plan to reduce the number of buses, there was a player who did not accept the proposals that were part of the plan at the time, which was the ISE, the Association of Tour Operators of Canada and North America. And today, we want to be more inclusive. So in parallel with the creation of the collaborative network, the city has established an advisory committee, which was announced just 3 weeks ago, that will bring together all stakeholders in Old Quebec, including residents, tourism stakeholders, employer representatives, and people who come to Old Quebec for work. So everyone.
So, and thank you, Rick, also for sharing the inputs of the Quebec Collaborative Network. We'll be sharing, of course, with you all the report once it's published. And of course, we want to hear from you. In case you have any comment, any question, just raise your hand at any time. There's a question in the chat, maybe for you, Hervé, from Anne-Laure. It's about the consultative commission.
It's a comment.
No, it's a comment. Okay, sorry. I thought it was a question.
She bounces on her collaborative, on her City Lab topic, which is the culture of cooperation. Exactly. Nicely done, Anne-Laure.
Well, yes, we will put that idea in our report also in the collaborative in the City Lab. So, for the next part of this session, we have also other guests that will talk about other programs and other activities that we've been developing in the last weeks. In fact, the last month we had also the ending of the first generation, let's say the first promotion of the Urban Heritage Regeneration Accelerator, which was launched with CHIFA, with our partner, and actually in 2025. So this first edition of this accelerator brought together 4 participating cities. It brought from Tunisia, Cuenca, Ecuador, Baeza, Spain, and Lamu, Kenya. Over the course of the program, these cities work collaboratively to explore innovative approaches on heritage and lead urban regeneration, while exchanging knowledge, challenges, and of course, best practices. Today, we are pleased to welcome some guests that will share insights regarding this inaugural edition. And of course, it will be a way to have firsthand the experiences from this journey. So first, I want to welcome Mrs. Kaula Abdulakir and Mrs. Mary Stone from Friends of Lamu Cultural Heritage Association, which are joining directly from Lamu, Kenya. And they were participants directly in the accelerator. And I would like to welcome you and to thank you for being here and to share with you all the experiences. Please, you have the floor.
Hi, my name is Mary Stone. I was hoping Hala was going to start. I'm on my phone, so I'm not very able to see what's going on. My computer is broken, but I did just want to. Hala, do you want to begin? I don't hear her. I'm assuming.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It was really a pleasure for us to be invited by the partnership between Organization of World Heritage Cities and the CHIFA Cultural Heritage. What is it? Now I'm blanking. Accelerator Finance, well, I'm blowing the name, Alliance, the Finance Alliance, to be part of the first cohort of this alternative aspect of catalytic funding and blended funding. For us, we're a very new organization, and being part of this quite rapid, intense training was very eye-opening to us. We learned so many different things from so many different people. They really helped us develop a path forward as to how to present a project and how to make a pitch. I think that some of my highlights were the mentors that came and gave us advice in the second stage. The first 3 months, we were gathering a lot of demographic and background information on Lamo, which is an amazing spot. I hope that, Hola, you can give a little history on that when you begin to speak. And then we did a SWOT analysis, and then the guidance and the mentorship that we gained from all of the professionals in the second trimester was amazing for me personally. I learned so much, and I also learned a lot from being in the cohort. For example, Tunis was very similar to the aspects they were facing, and the progress that they made really inspired us in other ways. The other two cities, I believe, were the municipality, the government workers were involved in the process. For us, we were both NGO organizations, and it was very enlightening. All of the 4 different cities, I think we all helped each other, and we helped guide and support each other in the challenges that we were facing. And then the last trimester was really focused now on creating a pitch. Hala is the person who pitched it for us. She got a lot of support even in how to make a good pitch, how to speak well, public speaking. We were also partnered with financial people from NYU. We were partnered with legal people also from NYU, some graduate students. And I felt like the support that we got along the way really empowered us to be able to take, we're a new organization, and 100% honesty, to take us as brand new, just babies in this field, to give us a really good education and to launch us nicely. So we did do the launch recently, and I know it's been recorded, it's on YouTube. We're waiting now for the Marrakesh launch, and I think also, so we'll see where that leads us as far as getting some financing for our projects. I think it was very educational, and it's something that without having participated in that, we would not be anywhere near close to where we are today with our organization. So I appreciate you. I thank you very much. Another thing that was very instrumental to us was that we realized that there were a lot of eyes on Lamo. The Organization of World Heritage Cities decided to hold their Sub-Saharan African meeting in Lamo, which was also an extraordinary experience to have all these people come together. A lot of West African organizations came, and we had a 2-day seminar here in Lamo. It was a real blessing to host these people, and then also to have that interaction with another 4 or 5 cities. So I can't appreciate enough how you've helped us launch as an organization, as well as to give us a lot of different different cities to collaborate with and understand the process with. Thank you so much. Paula, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mary. I think you have already summarized everything in a very detailed way. I share the same opinion, and I'm grateful to see where this will go on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Abdulakir, Mrs. Stone. It was a pleasure also to know how evolved the program, the accelerator program, and I think we could also share other ideas. I'm gonna switch to Spanish. José, vemos que también estás aquí. No sé si quieras compartir algo.
I see you're here too. I don't know if you'd like to share anything about your experience in the accelerator since we're on the subject. Well, no, I hadn't planned on it, but I'd be happy to share our reflections after participating, just like our colleagues from Lamu and Kuala. It's been a very enriching experience. It's been a chance to see a model of the kind of city we've always wanted. There. It has nothing to do with that. Nine months ago, because we have a very serious project, one that is very much based on the vision of the city we want, and taking into account all the factors that are necessary today to assess what we have and where we want to go. We are delighted to have been chosen and to have been able to share, study, and carry out this project, which is currently underway. For Baeza, I assure everyone that these projects, it has been fantastic, I would say. And today we're putting a project on the table that we see as having a much brighter future than we did 9 months ago. Something we almost considered unthinkable back then. Therefore, so much so. A huge thank you to Chifa and the OCPM, which, ever since I started working with them more directly 2 years ago, has been a perfect fit. And I encourage all of you who are involved, in one way or another, to keep supporting models for cities and future projects, to make tourism a force for coexistence and sustainability, much more so, and in a much more effective way. Therefore, I want to send my immense gratitude to all of you. Thank you very much, Jose. Thank you very much for. I know this wasn't planned, but
I'm gonna share again my screen for the last part of the meeting.
S'il y a des questions pour...
Oui.
S'il y a des questions pour...
If there are any questions for our friends at Amor, well, that's it. Or
No questions, I think, but yes. Okay. So, Andréane, I give you the floor for
Oui,
this one.
donc quelques mots avant de conclure pour vous donner un aperçu des prochaines activités. Donc, dans quelques minutes,
to give you a preview of upcoming activities. So in a few minutes, as Adriana mentioned earlier, we'll have our third and final virtual city lab on energy efficiency and heritage. So co-organized with the city. Yes, sorry about that. Yes, you can go ahead. Actually, regarding the Love Project and all that, it would have been nice if we'd had a few words about it. The actual project. Is it about public space? Is it about a monument? Yeah. What does it require? Yeah. Yes. We can. Is that possible, or is it? Maybe we can ask them. A few minutes to explain the project. They're coming. They're coming. They've been coming for a week or two now to do it. Actually, the last meeting where they presented their project to potential investors. So we haven't had time to do it yet. The report. However, maybe we could ask them, in a few words, to describe what the project was about. Since we have another meeting, we'll have to wrap up fairly quickly. But could we ask each of them to briefly describe the project they presented? Marie, would you like to present the project in a few words?
Paula to explain it. Please, Paula.
Paula.
Hello everyone, my name is Khawla Abdulkadir. I am a young heritage professional based in Lamu Heritage Site in Lamu Old Town, located on the northern coast of Kenya, and I'm so happy to be here with you to hear what has been done in the different city labs and to also share our experiences from Lamu. So what makes Lamu special special is that it's the oldest and most continuously inhabited settlement in East Africa. And again, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which has a beautiful showcase of different cultures from different parts of the world that's believed to have come together and uniquely formed the culture. Well elaborated on its carved doors, narrow alleys, and the most magnificent Swahili stone houses made out of corals and mangrove beam ceilings and all the interesting things with the wall art. So we were privileged and honored to be part of the New Urban Heritage Regeneration Accelerator, the first cohort, and it was an amazing experience. I personally got to learn a lot from it, not just from the 3 stages that we were taken through, from the urban context assessment to the development of a framework plan, and lastly, designing a pilot project. So I would like to start on how it benefited Lamu. We got to work on a map that we have been wishing to have, with support from Mark Aslan Architects that partnered with Shifa, who came to Lamu to volunteer with us. I got to meet to access many old historic traditional houses. I got to learn a lot about adaptive reuse from the mentorship sessions, and the community has already started seeing the possibilities of what could happen to their houses that are falling apart into ruins helplessly. Whatever we are learning, we are sharing with the community and involving them. And from us going to door from to these neglected and abandoned houses to now the community calling us possibly collaborate with them and support interventions to breathe life into these dying buildings. So on a that was more for professional. Also, like to add one thing, I got a platform to present myself and also to talk about the community efforts that are being put into heritage preservation and conservation in Lamu, with the first OWHC meeting held at the historic Lamu Fort. I got that platform because we rarely have heritage platforms, especially for young people. So I was able to not only network professionally with people from different countries and cities, and professionals, the Secretary General of OVPM, and different partners from around the world. But I was also able to amplify or to bring into light what I and the community have been doing for the past almost 1 year. And then I also got to get this amazing platform to learn from different cities like Tunisia and Beza, Spain, and Ecuador were a great team. And my last highlight would be getting the coaching sessions from Michael. He taught me how to storytell, how to deliver impactful pitches. It was my first pitch, and I'm so grateful that it went very well. And we are hopeful in what OWHC is doing, what Shifa is doing, and in partnership with the World Monuments Fund, we see possibilities where once was just helpless. And we look forward to more interesting things. And again, from the accelerator, from the map that was drafted with support from Mary and the architects, we're now developing a very comprehensive map, specifically rooted in the heritage of Lamu. So a map that shows the heritage trails, the most magnificent paths that have the paths that have the most magnificent carved wooden doors of Lamu. I usually say our doors speak to you before you knock, because every kind of woodwork art on the door has a story to tell. It tells you if the owner was a maritime person, if the owner was a trader, did this art be inspired from India or from Zanzibar, So we are looking forward to also sharing this map with the wider partners, which will also incorporate very unique cultural items like the traditional horn and so many other interesting things. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I look forward to me and Friends of Lamu Cultural Heritage and the Lamu community to be involved in the OWHC network and continue to find possible solutions, learn from each other, and make our heritage best preserved for future generations to come. In Swahili, we say asante sana, that means thank you, merci, grazie, I think. And yes, I look forward to OWHC supporting us in establishing the first Swahili Cultural Center in the island that will bring people far and wide to continue learning about our fading but very beautiful intangible practices. And I welcome all of you to our lovely island in Lamu. Please have some time and look at our island on social media or on Google, and I'm sure you'll be enchanted and you'll come see it. And we're here ready to host you, ready to warmly welcome you and walk with you along the 700-year-old alleys of our island. Asante sana, and I wish you all a lovely day.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Abdulakir. It's really interesting to know about this cultural center, and we hope we could see it like achieved for the next years. And José, ¿podrías
Jose, could you give us just a little more? A general overview of the Baeza project. Sorry.
Cerrar la sesión. Entonces, José, discúlpame, si puedes ser muy breve.
Please excuse me if you can keep it very brief. Come on, very, very quickly. I'll keep it very brief. Baeza's project arose from a convergence of circumstances, a situation that doesn't happen very often, namely, having a religious congregations building that is currently abandoned and at serious risk of simply collapsing. But it's a building with a very significant historical significance for the city. So, it has been completely abandoned by the Carmelite congregation, and the stroke of luck is that there is an administration that City Hall, which is very interested in coordinating the launch of its restoration and revitalization. And, on the other hand, there is a nonprofit foundation that is willing to commit to a major project and launch a large senior living facility in this building. Furthermore, it is committed to the historical and heritage restoration of the building. So everyone is coming together, right? The congregation is willing to hand over this building to this team for this project. As for the building itself, the foundation is ready to embark on a major project for the future. And all of this comes together under the coordination of the administration, which needs to enhance the value of both the buildings and the social services, a very important social need, which is caring for our elderly. Therefore, we have managed to bring together many pieces, uniting them with 100% agreement from all parties, with a commitment to the future, and above all, with a view toward the comprehensive renovation of a 16th century building, to restore it to its former glory, today, for service in the year 2026. So I believe all the stars have aligned for this to come to fruition, and we were blessed with good fortune, which brought us all together and put experts in our hands who have been able to work closely with us throughout the entire project. We have reached evaluation. We know what's needed, and we're confident we'll succeed because we're sure we'll find the funding to make it happen. Okay, I'll shut up now. Thank you. Voilà. Thank you, Jose. You were saying. So I'll continue with the schedule of activities. To wrap up this session, so, as I was saying, in a few minutes, the third and final session of City Lab on energy efficiency will begin, which is co-organized with the City of Luxembourg. We will also be holding the 64th Board of Directors meeting from April 23rd to 25 in Dubrovnik. And finally, co-organized with the Regional Secretariat for Northwestern Europe. So organized with my colleague Monica, who is here with us, from April 27th to 29, the Heritage Future Workshop and the workshop on the new urban project will be held in Visby, a perception test. So the test will allow us, using a large sample of cities, to gauge the relevance of the various components of the...
Okay. So thank you. We have one question from...
Oui. Vas-y, Hervé.
Juste préciser quand les travaux de notre réseau collaboratif et pas
Just to clarify, the work of our collaborative network isn't quite finished yet, because the chair of the advisory committee, which was created to address, and myself, are traveling to Bruges and Amsterdam at the end of the month to validate on-site certain elements that were discussed during the collaborative network's work and that were also shared with Rick Butland in the context of the city of Amsterdam. So I would like to thank the OVP.
Does anyone has another question, another comment? Well, I think in case you have any other thing in your mind, just you could write us, or our mail, how to reach us. But thank you so much for being here. Our next NUP Connect is going to be on May 7th, so we'll be there to talk more about all the things that City Lab results and all other things that are happening in the coming weeks. So thank you so much for joining today. I hope you had a great day wherever you are.
Thank you.